headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam-Poland elevate relations to new heights. And Vietnam to waive visas for citizens of 3 European countries. And in a world news, Israel and Hamas reach ceasefire deal.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is now 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie with the latest updates. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm visited Nam Định to celebrate the 95th anniversary of the Communist Party of Vietnam's founding and the upcoming Lunar New Year. After praising Nam Định achievements, the party chief urged the province to prioritize party building, innovate leadership methods, and streamline operations effectively. He emphasized the importance of maintaining strong economic growth, aiming for a double-digit growth rate to contribute to the national breakthrough this year. Prior to this, the party general secretary paid his respect at Chen Temple, the nation's special relic site, offered flowers and incense at former party general secretary Trường Trinh memorial site, and visited war hero Đinh Quốc Phòng. Extending Lunar New Year greetings to the armed forces of Military Region 9 on Thursday morning, State President Lương Cường commended the unit for improving training quality and conducting realistic exercises across all levels. The unit has successfully fulfilled its role as a working army by staying close to the people and collaborating on social welfare projects to reduce poverty. He urged Military Region 9 to heighten awareness, swiftly identify and address emerging issues, and ensure officers and soldiers celebrate Tet safely and efficiently. The state president also emphasized the importance of maintaining security, upholding the exemplary qualities of An Cụ Hồ soldiers, and streamlining the unit's structure while improving training according to the terrain and coastal regions. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, accompanied by his spouse and a Vietnamese delegation, arrived in Warsaw, Poland on Thursday morning for an official visit at the invitation of Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. This marks Vietnam's first prime ministerial visit to Poland in 15 years. The visit comes as the traditional friendship and cooperation between the two countries continue to flourish. The leaders will commemorate 75 years of diplomatic relations and chart new paths to strengthen bilateral ties. E-commerce platforms will now handle tax declarations, calculations, and payments for businesses and individuals who sell through their platforms. This change, introduced through amendments to the Tax Administration Law and the Personal Income Tax Law, make it easier for e-commerce sellers to fulfill their tax obligations.
E-commerce platforms will now handle annual tax obligations for businesses, eliminating the need for sellers to file and pay taxes themselves on platform-earned income. This solution will help reduce errors in tax compliance.
I think it's very convenient when e-commerce platforms handle the tax deductions and payments. Sellers can focus on selling their products without worrying about declaring or paying taxes. And most importantly, they don't have to worry about late payments or penalties for delayed tax submissions.
Representatives from e-commerce platforms say that while the amended Tax Administration Law and Personal Income Tax Law introduce several new provisions, a more transparent and fair system could be achieved by collecting taxes immediately after each transaction.
We believe that collecting taxes on sales made through e-commerce platforms can be done quickly and simply if taxes are collected from the first transaction of the year. If we only start collecting taxes once sales exceed the minimum threshold of 100 million VND per year, it will be much harder to manage.
We have researched and submitted proposals to the Ministry of Finance for approval to amend legal policies. Additionally, the General Department of Taxation is developing processes and guidance materials for e-commerce sellers, making it easier for them to meet their tax obligations.
Last year, Vietnam's e-commerce market reached over 20 billion USD, accounting for 8% of the country's total retail sales of goods and services. Strengthening e-commerce tax management is therefore expected to generate significant revenue for the national budget in the coming years.
Now, according to the General Department of Customs, trade between Vietnam and China exceeded $205 billion last year, marking Vietnam's first ever trade volume above $200 billion with the Chinese market. In 2024, the country's exports to China reached $61.2 billion, down about $100 million from 2023. Meanwhile, imports from China surged to $144 billion, showing an increase of over 30%. China remains Vietnam's largest trading partner, accounting for 26% of total trade volume. The exchange includes a wide range of goods, from agricultural products to raw materials, electronics, and consumer goods. This year, Prime Minister Phie has set ambitious targets of reaching 3.5 to 4% GDP growth for the agricultural sector and $70 billion for exports, building on last year's lesson, including better adaptation to natural disasters and increased use of science and technology. The sector is off to a strong start and is showing momentum for the year ahead.
Bananas, once produced on a small scale, are now set to become a billion-dollar crop in the near future. At this 8,000-hectare farm, many processes have been automated and digitized to meet the high standards of markets like Japan and South Korea. Thanks to the shift in mindset among both farmers and businesses, Vietnam is now competing with countries that have long been leaders in this market.
As producers and sellers, we now have the power to choose which markets we want to target. I select my customers rather than letting them choose me.
Following this shift, Vietnam is adopting research breakthroughs from other countries to narrow the technological gap, especially through AI implementation, which is steadily transforming the agricultural sector.
Science and technology contribute 35% of the added value in agriculture. In the future, we need to prioritize investment in agriculture, especially for new technologies, high-tech, and advanced industries.
Researchers are increasingly studying biotechnology and gene editing for use in large-scale crops and livestock, particularly rice and fruit trees. 2025 is expected to witness a boom in new crop varieties with unique traits.
We are developing crop varieties with low insulin content for diabetic patients. This aligns with nutritional needs determined by genetics, and we are actively creating new traits that traditional crops do not have.
In 2025, digital transformation and artificial intelligence will drive growth in Vietnam's agricultural sector, pushing exports of agricultural, forestry, and fishery products toward an unprecedented goal of $70 billion.
With the Lunar New Year approaching, fruit consumption has skyrocketed, leaving many consumers wondering how can they ensure their purchases are both high quality and safely grown. The answer lies in an emerging trend, connecting farmers directly to businesses through trusted supply chains that guarantee both traceability and quality.
Trunks eats pomelo right in his orchard, a practice he has maintained since adopting VTVgap farming methods. Despite recent continuous rains damaging his orchard, he refuses to use pesticides. Though his fruit may not look perfect, it remains sweet, and, most importantly, free of pesticide residues. Trung sells his entire pomelo harvest to a single business that maintains strict farming standards.
I mainly use organic pest prevention spray for the fruits.
In the Kangvint Mountains, 30 households growing green-skinned grapefruit have adopted VTVgap farming practices through a partnership that guarantees them a stable market. Each month, the business buys 90 to 150 tons of grapefruit. Each fruit receives a label during packaging, allowing consumers to learn about the farming methods.
Our green-skinned pomelo all have stickers showing the fruit's origins and growing area.
Currently, fruit origin and quality control rely primarily on labeling and certification documents. However, regular quality inspections are still necessary to verify that products match their label claims.
We also test products at the supermarket point to ensure their quality and safety for customers.
Quality control, particularly preventing pesticide residues in fruits and vegetables, is challenging. However, well-managed supply chains and regular inspections ensure that safe, high-quality produce reaches consumers.
Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate of today, January the 16th. Coming up next, Vietnam to waive visas for citizens of 3 European countries. And later on, Vietnam revives traditional arts through modern tourism. Welcome back to VTV News. As the Lunar New Year approaches, retail, services, and transportation sectors are seeing a dramatic increase in activity, driving high demand for seasonal workers. Despite offering double or triple the usual wages, businesses are still struggling to fill these positions. More on this to follow.
Ling, a university student, is taking advantage of this period leading up to Tết to earn extra income. Normally earning $1.18 per hour, he now receives double that rate for working from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily.
I applied to work part-time at this restaurant. I wanted to earn some extra money for this Lunar New Year holiday.
A restaurant chain has released a hiring notice for approximately 300 seasonal workers for positions such as waitstaff and kitchen assistants from the 23rd day of the lunar calendar until the end of Tết holiday.
We're going to need a large group of incoming staff to cater to rising demands in the lead-up to Tết. However, most part-time employees across Hanoi are university students who come from different localities. They tend to return home during these days instead of staying and working.
During this period, businesses expand their workforce to handle increased shopping and festival demands, while also scaling up production and market supply. Service and sales positions make up over 45% of recruitment needs, with technical workers and laborers filling the remaining positions.
Currently, most of the employment requests being processed by the Hanoi Employment Service Center are for part-time positions. The number of requests has also risen by 15% year-on-year across various sectors.
At year-end job fairs, hundreds of companies have participated and offered thousands of vacancies, primarily in commerce and services. To meet these high recruitment targets, most job openings require little to no experience, making this an opportune time for young job seekers to find employment.
Garlic grown in the Lý Sơn Island district of Quảng Ngãi province is renowned for its distinctive flavor and nutritional values. Garlic farmers in Lý Sơn are optimistic this year as productivity and prices have risen compared to last year's periods, with output remaining stable. More to follow.
In the vibrant spring of 2025, the flag-raising ceremony marked the new year atop Thai Mountain in the Lisan Island district. This tradition reflects the hopes of local growers for a successful garlic harvest after a year of hard work.
Lisan garlic is sold domestically and exported internationally, giving farmers confidence and motivation.
In 2024, Lisan garlic production reached nearly 2,600 tons, an increase of 800 tons year on year. Farmers are thrilled as garlic prices have risen by 15% due to strong market demand and are projected to earn a profit of $5,900 to $7,000 USD per hectare.
Lisan growers are enthusiastic about their products. I believe that Lisan's agriculture will thrive and become more impactful.
For New Year 2025, over 80,000 gifts were delivered to the islanders, boosting the festive spirit and encouraging them to develop the local brand further and promote Vietnamese cuisine globally.
Decree 168 took effect on January the 1st, imposing stricter fines against certain traffic violations. Despite criticism labeling the increased fines as exploitation or unfair burdening of citizens, the visible transformation on the streets tells a different story. The public's compliance with traffic laws has significantly improved, as observed in the 2 weeks since its enforcement.
At the Trần Duy Hưng Hoàng Đạo Thuy intersection in Hanoi during rush hours, the previously chaotic sight of motorbikes mounting sidewalks has vanished. Pedestrians and vehicles strictly obey traffic signals.
People's driving habits have changed a lot. No more mounting sidewalks or running red lights.
This intersection used to be extremely congested, but the decree has partly changed it. Traffic compliance has got better.
I stop at red lights way earlier than I'm supposed to because I feel safer doing so.
The Traffic Police Department assessed that the increased penalties have generated positive mindset changes among the public regarding traffic compliance. Traffic safety management ostensibly aims not to raise state revenue, but to encourage road users to adopt greater awareness and respect for road traffic laws.
Decree 168 has markedly improved traffic law compliance and significantly reduced traffic violations, including running red lights, going in the wrong direction, and mounting sidewalks. The clearest evidence can be seen at intersections across metropolitan cities such as Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, where traffic has regained order.
Citizens must adhere to traffic law. When they do, it's like a cluttered crowd beginning to stand in queues. It's natural for any change to take time.
In the first 15 days of its implementation, Vietnam recorded 681 traffic accidents nationwide, resulting in 365 deaths and 453 injuries, a significant decrease compared to the same period last year. A reduction in traffic accidents is also recorded across all 3 key metrics: number of accidents, fatalities, and injuries.
Now, starting from March the 1st, citizens of 3 European countries, Poland, the Czech Republic, and Switzerland, will be exempt from visas when traveling to Vietnam for tourism. The duration of stay is limited to 45 days from the date of entry. This visa exemption policies for citizens of these 3 countries will be in effect from March the 1st until the end of this year as part of the 2025 Tourism Promotion Program. World-renowned travel guide Lonely Planet recently revealed its list of 10 dream trips in Asia this year, with Hanoi and the surrounding areas making the cut. The Vietnamese representative offers visitors a journey into the millennium-old capital full of Asian pagodas. Lonely Planet suggested that travelers should experience a 10-day adventure in the capital, including spending at least 2 days wandering around its various temples and museums and stopping by President Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. The travel guide also briefly introduced Ha Giang Province, the imperial city of Phie, and the colorful merchant warehouses of Hội An in central Vietnam. Many traditional art troupes and clubs in Vietnam have been forced to shut down due to poor ticket sales revenue shortages and declining revenue. The integration of arts and tourism offer a promising solution to these challenges, creating a unique cultural attractions across various localities.
Every Friday and Saturday evening, visitors to the ancient village of Đường Lâm in Sơn Tây District, Hanoi, can enjoy a shadow puppet performance of the tale of Ba Chúa Mía at the Doi Creative Space.
I'm surprised to learn that the performers are young enthusiasts with no formal training. Their dedication and self-taught skills bring an authentic and unique charm to the show.
Shadow puppetry has become an innovative cultural attraction for overnight visitors to Đường Lâm. Through these performances, guests can explore the village's rich history and cultural heritage, a perfect embodiment of cultural tourism.
Across Vietnam, many localities are developing cultural tourism offerings to establish their distinct identities. Iconic productions include The Quintessence of Vietnam on Phu Quoc Island, the Hội An Memories Show, and The Quintessence of Tonkin. Recently, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism launched the art performances linked with Hanoi's Old Quarter program. The Cải Lương of Vietnamese opera production, The Sweet Star Fruit Tree, utilized the authentic setting of a historic house at number 22 Hang Bum Street.
We need to move beyond simply presenting disconnected traditional elements. Our aim is to create works that thoughtfully blend tradition with modern approaches. By breaking from convention, we've taken performances out of traditional theaters and into authentic historical spaces, creating a more realistic experience.
Moving forward, we plan to mobilize resources to make performances more engaging and appealing. A cultural tourism support fund is currently under review to ensure the efficient development of such initiatives.
Collaboration between arts organizations and tourism agencies is crucial for creating compelling cultural tourism products. These not only generate revenue, but also promote the richness of Vietnam's cultural heritage.
In Đồng Tháp, the 2025 Sa Đéc Spring Flower Festival is underway with vibrant activities, promising to be a popular destination as the Lunar New Year approaches. The event features a range of programs, including ancestral tributes, celebrations of flower-growing traditions, a mini landscape competition, a flower fashion show, and events showcasing the Sa Đéc rice powder craft. A key highlight is the Mekong Delta ornamental plant exhibition and competition. The festival also provides trading spaces for flowers, ornamental plants, and local old crop products. This event allows Sa Đéc City to promote its image as the flower capital of the Mekong Delta while boosting tourism. The festival runs until January the 20th. Coming up next in our world news, Israel and Hamas reached ceasefire deal. And oil prices rebound, reached 6-month high. Israel and Hamas have reached a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release agreement through intensive mediation by Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. The deal includes a 42-day initial phase that will pause for more than 15 months of fighting in Gaza. World leaders have welcomed the ceasefire agreement.
Implementation of the agreement is set to begin on Sunday, Jan 19th, with Hamas releasing 33 hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners during the first phase. The Israeli military will withdraw from populated areas to the outskirts of Gaza, allowing displaced Palestinians to return to their residence in the Gaza Strip. Humanitarian aid will flow in, with 600 trucks entering Gaza daily. In a joint statement issued by Qatar, Egypt, and the United States, the three mediators affirmed their role as guarantors of the ceasefire deal.
This agreement has a clear mechanism for the first 42 days, and there is a clear mechanism to negotiate phase 2 and 3, and all the details of the agreements will be published in the next couple of days once the details are finalized.
Leaders worldwide and international organizations expressed strong support for the deal. Many nations have voiced hope that the agreement will pave the way for a peaceful future.
I call on all relevant parties to uphold their commitments and ensure that this deal is fully implemented. From the outset of the violence, I've called for an immediate ceasefire and the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages.
More than 15 months of suffering by the innocent people of Gaza. Fighting in Gaza will stop, and soon the hostages will return home.
This agreement is a constructive step towards peace and stability in the region. Today must mark the beginning of a new chapter for the Israeli and Palestinian people.
Meanwhile, leaders from several European and Middle Eastern countries promptly voiced their support for the ceasefire agreement, emphasizing the need for all parties to release hostages, facilitate the delivery of aid to Gaza, and work toward a political resolution to end the conflict in the region.
Now, oil prices surged to about 2% to a 6-month high on Wednesday. Brent futures climbed 2.64% to settle at $82 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude jumped 3.28% to settle at $80. This movement put Brent on track for its highest close since August, and West Texas Intermediate for its highest since July. The price increases follow U.S. supply disruptions and expanded U.S. sanctions on Russian oil. The Thai cabinet has announced updates to its long-term resident visa program to attract foreign experts, investors, and executives. Thailand's new visa relaxation policy primarily benefits 3 groups: digital nomads, wealthy global citizens, and dependents of long-term residency visa holders. For digital nomads, foreigners working remotely in Thailand for overseas employers, the Thai government has reduced the employer's annual revenue requirement from $150 million to $50 million over 3 consecutive years. For wealthy global citizens, the government has eliminated the previous requirement of $80,000 minimum annual income for 2 consecutive years before applying for a long-term residency visa. Land, Infrastructure and Transport Minister Park Sang-woo has directed 7 airports across South Korea to urgently address hazardous structures on their premises. The decision follows the discovery of a critical safety oversight at Muan International Airport, where a concrete mound was improperly placed at the end of the runway. The embankment's proximity to the runway was identified as a contributing factor to the increased casualties in the Jeju air crash on December the 29th of 2024. Minister Park also announced plans to complete safety infrastructure upgrades at airports nationwide within the year. These improvements include the installation of bird detection radar systems and runway safety enhancement with anti-skid materials. And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.